Hello there, beautiful beings. RozyGlow here with a little energy update for this super full moon in Scorpio. My, oh my, oh my. What is going on and what has been going on? Well, if you don't know who I am Rosanna and I channel divine grace through RozyGlow. This is the frequency that allows us to let go easily of what no longer serves us. By having the revelations, those aha moments, this is what I call the power of revelation. It's like, oh, suddenly you see something you couldn't see before, and you are liberated from a past cycle that you just felt trapped in. So if you like the sound of that, when you subscribe to RozyGlow YouTube, you are subscribing to Grace. So if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe, hit the notifications tab, and then you will know every time I'm doing a live. And today I'm going to be doing a little update, energy update about the full moon meditation, which I'm going to be hosting privately for those of you who would like to take part and be part of my inner circle. There'll be details of this below in terms of how you can purchase. Now, I basically work as a coach to support people to align with their divine human selves, to live as ascended masters in training here on earth, and basically to activate their light bodies and co-create a new reality. So this new reality is one that we are imagining into being. And it's very important to remember that the brain cannot tell the difference, the hypothalamus cannot tell the difference between what is real and what is imagined. So the power of imagination is so important. And when we have a full moon, we get to have everything within us illuminated that is in resistance to what we say we want. Okay, it is the blessing that comes that allows problems to become blessings, because you see your resistance, and then utilizing multidimensional tools, which are what I teach on my coaching programs, you are able to then transmute that shadow element into light. And by transmuting, I mean loving it up, bring it in, don't deny it, don't reject it, don't push it away. Hey Dawn, good to see you. So I'm going to keep this brief because I know that shorter energy updates tend to work for people, but if you do want to join me for the meditation, it will be 11:30 UK time, so that's British Standard Time, AM on Sunday the 25th. And that means that you will need to sign up, and you will need to do that before that time, okay, so that you can join me live. And I'll invite you to have made yourself a cup of ceremonial grade cacao. If you have some, if you don't, you can purchase through me. Just have a look at the details in the text box and you'll be able to purchase. And also just bring your favorite crystals and a notebook and pen together. But what we're going to be contemplating is this prayer that I'm going to read out to you now. I'm going to go into a little blurb about it. And whether you join me or not for the meditation, use your tools to be able to make the most of this, because it feels to me like the harshness of this moon has been coming up since the new moon. So just to take you back a little bit, the full moon a month ago, we were seeding I am, well, whatever it is that allows you to be in equanimity. So it allows you to hold your center, whatever's going on around you. And then with the new moon energy we just had, we were anchoring resilience, which is that not giving up on yourself when you go through a tough moment, because we all set sail in a direction. We go, this is what I want. Yes, I really love the sound of that. And then when the going gets tough, more often than not, we give up. Okay, we look, our mind will give us a reason why it's not for us, not now, etc. And we step back. And that's the very time that you want to hold yourself and push forward. Okay, so although I'm not one for exerting too much willpower and forcing your will, because very often that is your ego self that's trying to force something, and that is your fearful self, there is a time when we do need to push through. And that is when we are about to have a breakthrough. More often than not, we have breakdowns before breakthroughs. So if you've been feeling particularly emotional, if you've been feeling wobbly, if you've been feeling like, you know, things are happening and you don't understand why, you've got the best intentions, but it seems like you're messing up, you're hurting people, or things are happening that aren't looking like they're aligned with what you want. Remember, everything is necessary on this path, okay? You will encounter what you need to in order to release whatever is inside of you that is blocking the flow of what you want. And what I'm sharing with you isn't just about your personal journey, although it is, it's also the collective journey. So here's the prayer, this cleansing prayer. I can't remember where it came from, but I'm using it and I hope that you will enjoy it. Why not put a hand on your heart and just repeat after me? I cleanse myself of all selfishness, resentment, critical feeling for my fellow beings, self-condemnation, and misinterpretation of my life experiences. I bathe myself in generosity, appreciation, praise, and gratitude for my fellow beings, self-acceptance, and enlightened understanding of my life experiences. So this is the gift of this moon, is to be able to flip it round from that seeing through eyes of fear to seeing through eyes of love. So just remember, fear stands for false emotion or evidence appearing real. And typically we know that we're seeing through eyes of fear when we feel like we need to protect ourselves. So I want to really anchor, I am my authentic self, but also I am safe. Okay, if we feel truly safe, what does that allow us then to experience that maybe we haven't allowed ourselves to experience before? Feel into that. And when you're also in your authentic truth, that means that when something doesn't feel good in your life, it's out of alignment with your authentic truth. So, you know, I want to talk specifically about misinterpretation of life events, because I think that's really powerful. And today's a very important day for me, which I'll go into in a moment, and how I'm just freeing myself from a misinterpretation that has limited me for quite a while. But when we come into this place of authentic truth, one of the things that we need to realize is that we go about our day doing a lot of things because we feel we should, without ever really checking in and asking ourselves, is this really what I want to do? Does this feel true for me? Now, don't get me wrong. If you've set something in motion and you have a plan to birth something, a project, an idea, you're in training, you're doing something, there are going to be moments that you want to give up, right? But you are committed to a path. And for the most part, you know you're committed to that path because you want the rewards. And there are going to be moments that you don't enjoy. Now, we're not talking about, oh, I'm not going to do it because I don't enjoy it. We're talking about the things you do every day. We're talking about the way you define yourself. We talk about the role that you play, the many roles that you play. Checking in with yourself with this Scorpio supermoon. Do I really want to show up this way, right? And with the shadow side, a lot comes up where often we can end up in a space of self-loathing or self-criticism or criticizing others. So in the world today, many people do not feel safe, right? Why don't they feel safe? Either because of the virus or because of the infringements on freedom and censorship that's going on right now, or the sense that if everyone else doesn't do what I want them to do, I'm not safe, right? And if everybody else does as they're told, I'm not safe. There's so many layers of this because some of us want to be led by others, and others are at a stage of our journey where we are ready to evolve into being autonomous beings and therefore to be accountable for our actions. So we don't want other people telling us what to do. We've outgrown that. We're willing to take responsibility for our decisions and therefore to deal with the repercussions. So this is very, very important. Okay, so if I go into this a little bit more, today is the anniversary of my mother's passing. So my mum died 12 years ago, and two misinterpretations occurred as a result of her death, bless her. And I love my mum very much, and I still feel I have a very deep and beautiful relationship with her now, which is actually much more healed than it was when she was in physical. But two misinterpretations that occurred. When my mum died, one, I then became the feminine elder in my family. There was no one else. So my 30th birthday present was finding out my mum had cancer. And within that first year, she died. So from turning 30 to turning 31, in 9 months, she went from being diagnosed to dying. Now, this was huge. She was 59 years old, turning 60. You can imagine, young, and a huge thing for me because she was such a matriarch. She was my safety. She was who I went to. She was who I vented to. And there was none of that anymore. So then what this came to was I then felt it was my responsibility to be the mother to everyone, including my dad, including my stepdad, including my sister, including everyone around me. And I kind of stepped into her rather than actually thinking, is this the role I want to play? So I'd end up feeling responsible for checking in with elderly relatives, checking in with elderly friends, almost feeling like I needed to take her place, to do all the things that she used to do, all the caretaking that in the end was actually very tiring for her as well. I never checked in with whether I wanted to or not. It was what I thought I needed to do. I feel liberated in the last week from this burden, okay? This is how long it's taken, because there was a second misinterpretation that occurred. And the second misinterpretation was I made a very tough decision when she was dying, which was not to be with her. Okay, my sister, bless her, was with her when she took her last breath. I was in England, my mum and my sister were in Greece, and I didn't do it because it would have involved taking my daughter to Greece and my daughter seeing my mum in a really challenging state, which I didn't feel was right for her age. So I stepped back, I stayed home, and I stayed with my child, but I did not feel equipped. And the only thing I knew how to do was to put my energy into work. I felt in some way, because I'd just started a business, and because I felt like I'd chosen the business and my child over my mum, I had to make it work no matter what. So I busted my gut from 2004 through to 2014-15 before I made a change to try and prove this business was worth it. It was worth me not having gone to Greece. And again, best intentions, but misguided, because all I did was hurt myself, run myself ragged. I wasn't there for my child the way that she needed me to be there for her, because I did not know how to deal with the grief of, one, losing my mum, and two, feeling the huge responsibility of taking her place, and then also needing to justify the decisions I made. So I'm sharing that with you, hopefully to trigger in you some conversation in you of where you have misinterpreted past events and maybe taken on roles that, if you're really honest with yourself, you don't want anymore. You know, since then, I made a tough decision last year to dissolve the business that, you know, up until then I felt I had to justify no matter what. It was such a relief. And now I'm flying. I'm flying because I'm aligned with my truth, my dream, what I want to do. But also coming across feeling states, beliefs that aren't very easy to deal with, right? So when you face something about yourself which you feel is unpleasant, and I'll tell you what mine is, I'm always telling people what to do, okay? It's like, oh, she's such a know-it-all. She's always telling people what to do, right? And it's like, in my professional life as a coach, there's a place for that. There's also a place for listening, right? In my personal life, if I'm telling everybody what to do all the time, that doesn't really allow for a nice balanced exchange, right? So there's been a lot of digging deep in terms of, how do I want to show up? What do I really want to put my energy into? And what do I feel I have to, but is really a burden and is bringing me down? Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is to step back, to allow others to step forward. If you feel responsible for other people's happiness, if you feel responsible for other people's well-being, if you feel responsible for everyone else but yourself, you are not allowing them to have the responsibility of their own life, their own choices, their own happiness, their own empowerment. So there is this saying about putting your hands under your bum, okay? And if you put your hands under your bum, you're like resisting that urge to do something for someone all the time, to make it easy for others. Because ultimately, what do we grow from? We grow, sure, by feeling supported to go through our pain. But if we try and take the pain away, if we don't learn how to manage pain, whether it is emotional, psychological, or physical, we always fear pain. Whereas if you learn to manage pain, then you know how to go through it. It's just a part of life, whether that's the loss of a loved one, whether it's hurting yourself, whether it's going through some kind of lack in your life. You learn how to evolve your consciousness through the challenges that you go through. And those challenges were chosen by your soul. So I'm just going to read you something now, which is the memo on today, if you like. And hopefully this will allow you to, again, prepare to make the most of this moon. So we're here in this moon energy to cleanse our bodies and minds and souls of what is not our authentic soul truth. Okay, we're here to let those stories go that don't serve our soul mission that we have chosen for ourselves. But where do we start? It can seem overwhelming. And really what I'd say is wherever you feel most emotional is where you start. Okay, where have you been triggered recently? What is making you feel uncomfortable, in pain, etc.? All forms of lack in our lives are the result of a misunderstanding or a misinterpretation of laws of the universe and of our life experiences. So wherever there is a lack, that is a perception shift that needs to happen if you want to have fullness where there is lack. So just take a moment to breathe that in. I'm going to say it again. All forms of lack in our lives are the result of a misunderstanding or misinterpretation of the laws of our universe and of our life experiences. So now is the time to open our hearts to illuminating what is ready to be experienced in a different way. So wherever you have lack, own it in yourself. If you have a lack of time, I've recently been like, how is it I've overcome everything that has been a challenge in my life, including finances and true love and all the rest of it, to still be challenged by time? And if something is not manifesting in your life, I promise you there's resistance to it. So when I self-inquired with this, I remembered growing up in the countryside in England, being so bored. My comfort was food, and then it was smoking, right? And then it was boys, and then it was just being naughty. But the point is, that in itself is like, wow, okay, what is going on with this? Like, how is it that I am not allowing myself to have more time? It's because I don't want to be bored. So if I want to have more time, I need to allow myself to have time to do things I really want to do. What do I really want to do? Well, if I've always identified my self-worth with work, with being valuable, with being of service, then stepping out of that and just enjoying experiences, enjoying activities for the sake of them without being useful to someone, that's a powerful shift for me in my own consciousness. But also there's an ego death, because if I am not me in service, who am I? Am I still needed on this planet? Maybe I'm just going to die. This is all there. This has been the existential crisis of this full moon, because full moon Scorpio, depths of the subconscious. Okay, but the anchor point of the full moon in Scorpio is Taurus. It's the opposite end, okay, which will be the next new moon. And that is our security, our stability, our physical reality. So Scorpio is illuminating what threatens our physical reality. Whatever you are invested in, your roles, whatever you identify with, if you are going to evolve into the next stage of your consciousness, you are going to have an ego death. You're going to have a death of that role. And you're going to discover something more about yourself. So being willing to let things go so that you can be something else as well is part of this journey, my friends, okay? So what else have I got to say with this? I'm going to be bringing it to a close very shortly. Why do we do things the way we do them in our daily lives? Do we just get on with it and truly enjoy what we have co-created? Or not? So get honest with places where you may have been fobbing yourself off with this is just the way it has to be. Wherever you are telling yourself that, memo to self, check it out. Is it really the way things have to be? Because you're being given an opportunity now to upgrade it. In order to invite grace into this moon, we need some radical self-honesty to help us align and recalibrate with our soul truth. It might feel like an existential crisis. Who am I if I'm not this struggle, frustration, or role? Consider this as a spring clean of the soul and human alignment within you, the Scorpio-Taurian axis. Why is your current situation that you're working so hard to maintain? Sorry, what is your current situation that you're working so hard to maintain? Is it really what you want? What do we turn to for comfort? And is it sustainable and nourishing? Like, notice the things you turn to. We all have stuff, okay, right? Do we turn to things for comfort that nourish and sustain us? Or if we're really honest with ourselves, we realize they're not the very best thing we could turn to, right? Maybe you numb out one way, or, it could be drugs, could be alcohol, could be smoking, could be eating food, whatever it is, just be honest with yourself. Would you like to do something different instead? You don't have to make any decisions, but would you like to do something different instead? And all this stuff that you're working so hard to maintain, do you really want it? Again, I'll give you an example. I'm like, I love the work I do, but there is a very strong part of me that wants to take a year off and just do nothing. I've never had a gap year. I don't know if I could ever not do something, because creativity is just in my blood, right? I am that way. So I've been inspired to share something, but to have no pressure to show up for anything. I'm going to co-create that because I want that experience. It's coming, right? But I invite you just to look at the things that you tolerate, but you want to shift, okay? And recognize that it is scary. It's like opening a can of worms or Pandora's box. But if you allow yourself to consider what you would like to do differently, then things can start to shift, and replacements can come in that seem more enticing. Because what I've seen in my own life and in all of my clients' lives is when they have shifted their vibration, things they used to be able to do, they can't do anymore. We're discovering that in our own lives as well. Things we used to do and had really enjoyed doing, we just can't do them anymore. They don't work for us. They bring us down. They don't bring us up. So pay attention. And there's going to be a little time lag there where you're not going to be doing, the new thing yet. You're still oscillating. And that part of you that's been doing things the way they have for a very long time is going to dig heels deep, baby. It's going to be like, no, I'm not stopping doing this. And you may find that you do more of what it is that you're saying that you want to stop. This is part of the process, regression before progression, okay? So it's really important to remember that. And ask the question, what is bringing us true, deep, nourishing joy, satisfaction, ease, and peace? Things will have changed, especially in this last year. You know, people that I've missed that I thought I wanted to be around, I don't. I don't want to be around their vibration. Ian and I were like, what do we want to do now? We want a community of like-minded souls. We want to have conversations on the weekend that lift us up. We don't need to numb out and push things away. We want to inspire and create new. So you have to create a space for it. And that's what this moon is offering us. An opportunity to spring clean old ideas, old beliefs, old wants, and to say, are they still relevant now? Do I still want this? And in our collective, you know, misrepresentations of the past, oh my goodness. You know, what have we been told by the media? I love reading newspaper articles that say things like, this prime minister misled the government. Misled? Is it misled or lied, right? When we look at the way things are reported, tomorrow there is a march in London, okay? Very powerful, big, it will be huge. But I promise you, the media will report it as a couple of thousand because that's what they do. So the problem is for those of us who have experienced things firsthand and then seen the way they are represented, we know there is such a gap. But until you experience it for yourself, you don't. So do I now have faith in government? Do I have faith in media? No, I don't believe anything they say. Why? Because I've seen that if they've lied in certain places, misled in certain places, then they may well have done that in other areas. And we're getting this now, this mistrust is coming up across the whole board, public health, government, education, commerce, finance. Like, why are things the way they are? So we are going through a massive revolution, and I'm really excited about it. And I want to invite you to participate, okay? There are so many tools available. I want to invite as many of you as possible to join me on my coaching journey, whether it's one-to-one or group. The results that come out of this, especially in these trying times, are just phenomenal. People are flipping the switch from their old self to their soul truth, and they're living and creating a sustainable and thriving reality whilst the old world is dying, okay? It is being dismantled. It is disintegrating. It is putrefying. So we get to notice what's happening, and we either go with or we go against. But what I'm saying is, if we just go with the tide of the river at the moment, we're going off the cliff, okay? We're not sustainable. Whereas us, those who are stepping forward and creating a new reality, are forging forward. The path is opening. The seas are parting, because we're remembering we are each a miracle, and therefore we are capable of creating miracles. And we can compassionately look at the past. We can move beyond the judgment into raising our vibration into forgiveness, acceptance, and discernment. And therefore, all the while this old stuff is going on, we are creating the new infrastructure. We've got all of the, what do they call it, when you put scaffolding up? We are creating the scaffolding for the new world that we're building together. And I really want you to join me. So remember, I've made a couple of videos on the Cosmic Cleanup Crew. This is a little product. It's a very beautiful 7-day energy detox, fear and energy detox, so that you can get back out in the world in your new vibration and not fear anything. Not fear viruses, not fear 5G, not fear other people's choices, not fear the passports, not fear anything, okay? Just to move beyond the fear so you can critically think again. And this is also going to support you in your own life, okay? To be able to look into the places you're scared to go, that this moon is illuminating for you to find the hope underneath it all. It's so powerful, my friends, okay? We are here to grow our soul consciousness and to embed and seed that on this earth. So we're looking for more security. We're learning to trust ourselves, and we are learning to take actions that reflect our soul desires, or where we feel we must continue to build in order to maintain whatever status quo we're in. So we're making some choices here. Are we going to develop our soul truth? Or are we going to stay stuck in an energy that we're working so hard to maintain without making the choice, is this truly what I want? So that's all I've got to say on that. But again, I'm going to invite you to join my community, RozyGlow.com. Come and join my mailing list. You'll get the free Star Salutation Prosperity Practice, which in itself is amazing. It shouldn't be free, okay? And it's not going to be free for long, because I've noticed that people very often don't value free, including me, okay? It's like, When I pay big time, I'm committed, right? So I'm asking those of you who are serious about ascension, manifestation, and co-creating to come and start to be a part of my inner circle. Yes, you will need to pay for the full moon meditations, but I will offer Q&A at the end to support you in your shifts. You're also going to be able to see my current clients graduating when they graduate from their coaching. You can ask them questions, because the more of us master ourselves, our soul truth, and love up our shadow, we are the leaders and we are the game makers of the new world. I ain't a game changer. I'm creating a whole new game here, okay? And I'm inviting you to do that with me. #StarPeace. Please share this with others. If you want to join us Sunday, it's 11:30 a.m. Subscribe to RozyGlow.com. Please subscribe here. Share this with others and join me, okay? The next new moon meditation, it will always be here presently on the YouTube channel, so that will be in a couple of weeks' time. But that's where we plant the seeds. And then what we do with the full moon is we clear up the resistance to the seeds that we've planted, so we can have the most graceful and easy ascension in that area of our lives. And we do it for ourselves, and we rewrite the story for the whole of the collective as well, okay? Don't worry about what other people are doing. Your vibration is key. Raising your vibration is essential for the ascension of this planet. So that's all I'm going to say for now. I'm going to leave it there. So much love to you all. I really look forward to seeing you on Sunday. Remember to book up ASAP. We'll put the links in the text box below. Cacao, crystals, all of it down there. And Oracle healing cards. Oh my goodness. I got them now. So if you're in the UK and you want to purchase some, they're £80 plus postage. So it could be nearer to 90 because they do need to come, I think it is with, a higher postage because they're expensive. There's plenty of them, so get in touch. Take care. Have a beautiful day. Make the most of this moon. It is in a couple of days' time, but now is the energy to cleanse your crystals. Now is the energy to pay attention to what is coming up and to allow yourself to have the deepest clearing so that you can fill yourself up with safety, with authenticity. It comes from inside of you, is not dependent on anyone else. You don't need external validation to feel safe. You don't need others to validate you to be in your truth, okay? Namaste. Big love. Take care.